The transport ship shook as it dropped out of hyperspace. Yun-Woo Lee pressed his face against the small window and saw his new home for the first time. The prison station Void's edge hung in space like a giant metal spider. Its dark surface was covered with lights that blinked red and white. Behind it, a dying orange star cast long shadows across the station's massive structure. Hyun-Woo felt his stomach twist with nerves. This was his first real job after graduating from the Guard Academy. Most of his classmates got assigned to peaceful stations or cargo escorts. He got sent to the most dangerous prison in the galaxy. "First time seeing a maximum security facility?" asked the pilot. She was a blue-skinned Altarian with 4 arms. "It's bigger than most people expect." "How many prisoners are in there?" Hyun-Woo asked. "About 3,000, but it's not the number that matters. It's what they can do." The pilot's voice became serious. "Some of them can tear apart reality with their minds. Others can control whole planets if they escape. That's why they need guards like you. Like me. Human guards. You didn't know? Every dangerous prisoner in that station is watched by humans. The other races handle the easy cases, but the real monsters, only humans can deal with them." Hyun-Woo didn't understand what made humans so special, but he nodded anyway. The transport docked with a soft thud, and soon he was walking through the station's bright corridors. The artificial gravity felt normal, and the air smelled clean. It didn't look like a prison at all. A tall man in a dark uniform waited at the security checkpoint. His name tag read Captain Taemin Park, and his eyes were calm but sharp. Behind him stood a woman with short black hair and a metal arm that gleamed under the lights. "You must be Lee," Captain Park said. His voice was steady and confident. "I'm your commanding officer. This is Senior Guard Sora Kim. She'll help train you." Sora stepped forward and shook Hyun-Woo's hand with her normal arm. Her grip was firm. "Welcome to the worst job in the galaxy," she said with a small smile. "You'll either love it or quit within a week." "I won't quit," Hyun-Woo said quickly. "That's what they all say." Sora's smile grew wider. "Come on, let's get you settled in." They walked through more corridors. Hyun-Woo saw other guards along the way. Some looked human, but others were clearly alien. A tall insect-like being with 6 arms nodded at them as they passed. Another guard looked like he was made of living crystal and glowed with soft blue light. "The Velthari are good at following orders," Captain Park explained, noticing Hyun-Woo's stare. "The Luminari can see in complete darkness and don't need to sleep. Every species has their strengths." "What about humans?" Hyun-Woo asked. Captain Park and Sora exchanged a look. "You'll find out soon enough," Sora said. They stopped at a large door marked Warden's office. Inside, a being made of clear crystal sat behind a desk. The warden was about 8 feet tall, and light seemed to dance inside her transparent body. When she spoke, her voice sounded like wind chimes. "Guard Lee," the warden said. "I am Warden Kethara. Welcome to Void's Edge." "Thank you, Warden," Hyun-Woo said, trying not to stare at her strange beauty. "I suppose you wonder why you are here. Why we requested a human guard instead of someone else." The warden stood up and walked to a large window that showed the prison's inner structure. "Tell me, Guard Lee, what do you know about your home? Planet? Earth? It's where humans come from." "Yes, but what kind of world is it?" Hyun-Woo thought for a moment. "It's dangerous, I guess. We have storms, earthquakes, wild animals, diseases." "Exactly." The warden turned back to him. "Most species in the galaxy evolved on worlds that took care of them. Warm suns, gentle weather, plenty of food. But humans? You came from a world that tried to kill you every single day." The crystal being moved closer, and Hyun-Woo could see his reflection split into 1,000 pieces in her surface. Ice ages that lasted thousands of years. Volcanoes that blocked out the sun. Predators with claws and fangs. Plagues that killed millions. Your species survived all of this and became stronger because of it. "I still don't understand what that has to do with prison work," Hyun-Woo said. Captain Park spoke up. "Some of our prisoners can drive other species insane just by looking at them. Others feed on fear and despair. A few can reach into your mind and turn your thoughts against you. But humans, Sora added, humans already lived through hell. We know how to survive when everything goes wrong. We know how to keep fighting when there's no hope left. The warden nodded. When I need someone to guard a being that can tear apart reality, I call a human. When I need someone to stay calm while facing cosmic horrors, I call a human. Your people understand survival in ways that others cannot. Hyunwoo felt a mix of pride and fear. What kind of prisoners are we talking about? The warden touched her desk and a holographic display appeared in the air. Images of various creatures floated before them. One looked like a mass of writhing shadows. Another appeared to be a humanoid figure, but something about it hurt to look at directly. This is X7749, the warden said, pointing to the shadow creature. It feeds on negative emotions, fear, anger, despair. Most guards can't spend more than 5 minutes near its cell without having a breakdown. And this, she indicated the painful-to-look-at figure, is known as the Void Walker. It exists between dimensions. Reality becomes unstable around it. Several Luminary guards went permanently insane after a single shift watching it. But humans can handle them? Hyunwoo asked, his voice smaller now. Yes, Captain Park said. Not easily, not without cost. But you can do it when others can't. Sora held up her metal arm. Lost this one to a shapeshifter 3 years ago. But I kept fighting until backup arrived. A Veltari guard would have been too shocked to move. A Luminari would have tried to reason with it. Humans don't freeze up, Captain Park explained. You adapt. You find a way to survive. That's what makes you valuable here. The warden dismissed the hologram. Your shift begins tomorrow, Guard Lee. You will start with easier assignments and work your way up. Captain Park will be your mentor. As they left the office, Hyunwoo's mind was spinning. He had joined the guard service to help protect the galaxy, but he never imagined it would be like this. Having second thoughts? Sora asked as they walked to the guard quarters. A little, Hyunwoo admitted. That's normal. But remember something. She stopped and faced him. Every human guard here volunteered for this job. We could have chosen easier assignments, safer postings, but we're here because someone has to do it. And because we're the only ones who can, Captain Park added. They showed him to his small but comfortable room. As Hyunwoo unpacked his few belongings, he thought about what the warden had said. Humans came from a world that tried to kill them. Maybe that really did make them different. Outside his window, the dying star cast its orange light across the prison station. Somewhere in the depths of Void's Edge, the galaxy's worst nightmares waited in their cells. Tomorrow, he would stand guard over them. Hyunwoo looked at his reflection in the window and saw a young man trying to look brave. He hoped it would be enough. Hyunwoo's first week at Void's Edge was nothing like he expected. Captain Park started him on easy duties. He checked food deliveries, walked patrol routes through safe areas, and learned the station's layout. The work felt normal, almost boring. Don't get comfortable, Sora warned him during lunch. The captain is being kind. Real guard work starts next week. She was right. On Monday morning, Captain Park led him to a section of the prison he had never seen before. The corridors here were darker, and the air felt heavy. Red warning lights blinked on every door. This is Block D, Captain Park explained. Medium security. The prisoners here can hurt you, but they can't destroy planets. He stopped at a door marked with strange symbols. Your first real assignment is behind this door. Through the door's small window, Hyunwoo saw what looked like an empty white room. Then something moved in the corner. It was hard to look at. Directly, the shape seemed to shift and change like smoke trying to become solid. Meet X7749, Captain Park said. We call it the Fear Eater. It feeds on negative emotions. Every few hours, someone needs to check on it. Make sure it's still, contained. What do I do if it tries to talk to me? It will try to talk to you. It will try to make you afraid, angry, or sad. When that happens, remember your training. Remember what makes humans different. Captain Park opened the door. The moment Hyunwoo stepped inside, he felt something wrong. The air became cold, and shadows seemed to move by themselves. The thing in the corner turned toward him. Hello, little human, it said. Its voice was like broken glass scraping against metal. You smell of fear. Fresh fear. I like that. Hyunwoo's heart started beating faster, but he kept his voice steady. Prisoner X7749, I'm here for routine inspection. The creature laughed. Inspection? You're here to feed me. All guards are here to feed me. Let me show you something beautiful. The white room suddenly changed. Hyunwoo found himself standing in his childhood home on Earth. But everything was wrong. The walls were covered in blood, and he could hear screaming from upstairs. Your family is dying. The Fear Eater whispered. You could have saved them if you hadn't left Earth. If you hadn't come here to play hero. For a moment, Hyunwoo felt real terror. Then he remembered something his grandmother used to tell him. Fear is just your mind trying to keep you alive, she would say. Thank it for the warning, then keep moving forward. This isn't real, Hyunwoo said out loud. The bloody house began to fade. My family is safe on Earth. But what if they're not? The creature hissed. What if something terrible happens while you're here, playing guard in the darkness? Then I'll deal with it when it happens, Hyunwoo replied. Worrying about things I can't control won't help anyone. The Fear Eater made an angry sound. The UDR false vision disappeared completely, leaving only the white room. You humans are so annoying, no imagination, no proper fear. Inspection complete, Hyunwoo said. He turned and walked out, closing the door behind him. Captain Park was waiting, in the corridor with a small smile. How do you feel? Scared, Hyunwoo admitted. But also, okay? Like I passed some kind of test. You did. Last month we had a Velthari guard try that same inspection. He came out screaming and didn't stop for 3 hours. The month before, that Illuminary guard went catatonic. We had to transfer him to medical. They walked to another part of Block D. Here they met Dr. Mi Young Choi, a human woman in a white coat. She was studying data on a tablet and looked up when they approached. How did the new guard do with X7749? She asked. Better than expected, Captain Park said. No panic, no breakdown, he talked back to it. Dr. Choi nodded. That's what we usually see with humans. Come with me, Guard Lee. I want to show you something. She led them to her office, which was filled with screens showing brain scans and psychological profiles. I study how different species react to the prisoners here. Want to know what I've learned? Yes, ma'am, Hyunwoo said. Most species evolved in safe environments. When they face something truly terrifying, their minds shut down to protect themselves. It's a normal response. She pointed to a brain scan on her screen. This is a Velthari guard after 5 minutes with X7749. See how the fear centers are completely overwhelmed? She switched to another scan. This is a human guard after the same exposure. The fear centers are active, but see these other areas? They're working too. Problem-solving, memory recall, emotional regulation. The human brain doesn't just feel fear. It processes fear and learns from it. Why are we different? Hyunwoo asked. Because Earth tried to kill your ancestors every single day for millions of years, Dr. Choi explained. Saber-toothed tigers, ice ages, volcanic eruptions, plagues. Humans who could think clearly while terrified were the ones who survived to have children. Captain Park leaned against the wall. Every human carries that survival instinct. We feel fear, but we don't let it control us. Dr. Choi brought up another image. This is why we need human guards for the really dangerous prisoners, the ones that can break minds just by existing near them. That afternoon, Captain Park took Hyunwoo to meet more of the guard staff. In the break room, they found Sora playing cards with 3 alien guards. One was the insect-like Velthari he had seen before. Another was the glowing Luminari. The third looked like a walking tree made of silver metal. This is Kickstar, Sora said, nodding toward the Velthari. He's been here longer than anyone. And that's Brightness of Dawn. She indicated the Luminari. The metal guy is Root Seeker. The aliens greeted Hyunwoo politely, but he could sense they were studying him. Finally, Kickstar spoke in a clicking, buzzing voice. So you are another human guard. We have been wondering why your species handles the dangerous prisoners so well. We just talked to Dr. Choi about that. Hyunwoo said. Apparently we're used to being afraid. Brightness of dawn's glow pulsed slowly. My people find this fascinating. We evolved under a gentle star on a world of crystal caves. Fear was rare. For us. When we encounter something like X7749, our minds cannot process the experience. Same with my people, Rootseeker said in a voice like wind through leaves. We grew in peaceful forests for millions of cycles. Terror is foreign to us. Kickstar nodded his insect head. The Velthari conquered many worlds through superior technology and numbers. But we conquered only civilized worlds. We never had to fight monsters. Humans fought monsters before they even had proper weapons, Sora said. We learned to be smart, tough, and stubborn because we had to be. That evening, Captain Park gave Hyunwoo his assignment schedule for the next week. Looking at it, Hyunwoo saw he would be checking on X7749 every day, plus 3 other prisoners he hadn't met yet. Am I ready for this? He asked. Captain Park considered the question seriously. You survived your first encounter with a fear eater. You kept your head when it tried to break your mind. That's more than most guards can do on their first try. But there are worse things than X7749 in here, aren't there? Much worse. But you'll be ready for them when the time comes. You're human, Lee. Your ancestors survived everything a hostile universe could throw at them. That strength is in your blood. As Hyunwoo walked back to his quarters, he thought about what he had learned. Humans weren't stronger or smarter than other species. They weren't more advanced or more peaceful. But they had something else. They had learned to function while afraid, to think while under pressure, to keep going when everything seemed hopeless. Tomorrow he would face X7749 again, and probably other horrors he couldn't imagine yet. But for the first time since arriving, at Void's Edge he felt like he might actually belong here. Outside his window, the dying star continued its slow dance with the prison station. In the depths of the facility, monsters waited in their cells. And standing between them and the galaxy were guards like him. Human guards who had learned long ago that the only way to survive the darkness was to walk through it without looking away. 3 weeks into his assignment, Hyunwoo had settled into a routine. Check on X7749 twice a day. Monitor the Dream Stealer in Cell D15. Walk patrol in the medium security blocks. The work was hard, but he was getting used to it. That changed. On a Tuesday morning at 0600 hours, Hyunwoo was drinking coffee in the break room when the alarm started screaming. Red lights flashed in the corridors and the station's AI voice echoed through the speakers. Containment breach in Block C. All guards to emergency stations. This is not a drill. Captain Park's voice came over the communication system. All human guards report to Security Central immediately. All non-human guards evacuate to safe zones. Hyunwoo dropped his coffee and ran. In the corridors, he saw alien guards hurrying toward the exit tunnels. Their faces showed panic and fear, but the human guards were moving in the opposite direction, toward the danger. Security Central was chaos. Screens showed multiple cells in Block C with their doors wide open. Commander Ha Newell Song, the station's security chief, stood at the main console. Her face was grim as she coordinated the response. What happened? Sora asked as she arrived with her weapon ready. Power failure in Block C, Commander Song replied. Main power, backup power, and emergency power all went down at the same time. Every containment field failed. Captain Park studied the screens. How many prisoners are loose? 17, including some of our worst cases. Commander Song pointed to one screen. The Nightmare Shaper in C7, the Bone Collector in C12, and worst of all, the Voidwalker from C1. Hyunwoo felt his blood turn cold. The Voidwalker was the creature that existed between dimensions, the one that made reality unstable just by being near it. Where's Jin Ho? Captain Park asked. Maintenance Chief Kang is already in Block C trying to restore power, Commander Song said. But it's dangerous down there. The escaped prisoners are hunting for a way out. On the screens they could see shapes moving through the dark corridors of Block C. Some looked almost human. Others were things that hurt to look at directly. Orders, sir? Sora asked. Captain Park was quiet for a moment, thinking. Then he turned to address all the human guards in the room. There were 12 of them, including Hyunwoo. Block C has 17 loose prisoners. Each one could kill hundreds of people if they reach the main population centers. The alien guards have evacuated because they can't handle exposure to these entities. That leaves us. He pointed to the largest screen. Teams of 2. We go in, we contain what we can, and we protect. Jinho while he fixes the power. Questions? Nobody had questions. They all understood what needed to be done. Lee, you're with me, Captain Park said. Everyone else, pick your partners and move out. As they geared up, Hyunwoo tried to calm his racing heart. Captain, I've never dealt with anything this dangerous. Neither have most of us, Captain Park replied, checking his weapon. But we're the only ones who can do this job. The Velthari guards would go insane the moment they saw the Void Walker. The Luminari would freeze up when the Nightmare Shaper attacked their minds. They entered Block C through the emergency access tunnel. The moment they stepped inside, Hyunwoo felt the wrongness in the air. Reality seemed thin here, like it might tear apart at any moment. The corridor lights flickered on and off. In the darkness between flashes, Hyunwoo caught glimpses of impossible shapes moving along the walls. Stay close, Captain Park whispered. Don't look directly at anything that doesn't seem normal, and if you hear something calling your name, don't answer. They moved carefully through the twisted corridors. The first prisoner they encountered was relatively harmless. It looked like a giant spider made of shadow, but Captain Park stunned it with an energy weapon, and they moved it back to its cell. The second prisoner was worse. It appeared to be a normal human woman, but when she smiled, Hyunwoo saw that her mouth was full of too many teeth. Hello, guards, she said sweetly. Would you like to see something beautiful? Don't listen to her, Captain Park warned. She's a perception manipulator. She makes you see things that aren't there. But as they approached, the woman's form began to change. She became taller, more beautiful, more perfect. Her voice became like music. You don't need to fight anymore, she said. You can rest now. You can be happy forever. Hyunwoo felt his will beginning to weaken. The woman was so beautiful, and he was so tired of being afraid all the time. Maybe it would be nice to just give up and let her take care of everything. Then he heard his grandmother's voice in his memory. When something seems too good to be true, it probably is. Trust your instincts, not your desires. The illusion shattered. The beautiful woman was revealed as a creature with pale skin and black eyes. Captain Park stunned her before she could try another trick. Good work, he said to Hyunwoo. You broke free of her influence. They continued deeper into Block C. Over the communication system, they could hear other teams reporting their progress. Sora and her partner had contained 3 prisoners. Another team had found Jinho and was protecting him while he worked on the power system. Then they reached the most dangerous area, Cell C1, where the Void Walker had been imprisoned. The door was wide open, and strange lights flickered inside the cell. Reality warped and twisted around the opening. Sometimes the corridor seemed to stretch for miles. Other times it felt like they were standing inside a small box. It's still in there, Captain Park said, but it's testing the boundaries of normal space. If it figures out how to fully manifest in our dimension, it could tear a hole between realities. They approached the cell carefully. Inside, Hyunwoo could see something that his eyes couldn't quite focus on. It was tall and thin, but also wide and short. It had too many angles and not enough substance. Human guards, it said in a voice, like static. You cannot contain me. I exist in spaces between spaces. Your prison is only 3 dimensions. I am so much more. The creature began to push against the walls of reality. The corridor around them started to bend and twist. Hyunwoo felt sick as his brain tried to process geometry that shouldn't exist. We need to get it back in the cell, Captain Park said. But how do you fight something that exists in multiple dimensions? Hyunwoo remembered something Dr. Choi had told him. She said humans process fear and learn from it. Maybe we don't fight it directly. Maybe we make it uncomfortable here. What do you mean? It said our prison is only 3 dimensions, right? But humans lived in a 3-dimensional world for millions of years. We're used to limitations. Maybe we can make this place feel more limited. It was a desperate idea, but Captain Park nodded. Worth a try. They began talking to each other about normal, everyday things. The weather on their home planets, what they had for breakfast, simple 3-dimensional thoughts about a simple 3-dimensional world. The Void Walker made an annoyed sound. Stop that. Your mundane thoughts are polluting the dimensional matrix. They kept talking. Soon other guards joined them over the communication system. All of them sharing normal human thoughts about their normal human lives. The creature began to retreat back into its cell. This is intolerable. Your species thinks in such small, confined ways. The door slammed shut, and the reality distortions stopped. Power restored in Block C. Jinho's voice came over the radio. All containment fields are back online. By the end of the shift, all 17 escaped prisoners had been recaptured. The alien guards slowly returned to their posts, looking ashamed of their evacuation. In the debriefing room, Commander Song addressed the entire guard force. Today showed us something important, she said. When faced with cosmic horrors that can break minds and tear reality apart, the human guards stayed calm and did their jobs. They didn't run. They didn't panic. They found ways to win. Kickstar, the Velthari guard, clicked his mandibles together. We apologize for our cowardice. We should have stayed to help. You weren't being cowards, Captain Park replied. You were being smart. Those prisoners would have driven you insane or killed you. Running was the right choice for your species. But not for humans, Brightness of Dawn observed. Your people walk toward danger instead of away from it. Sora shrugged. Someone has to. If we don't guard the monsters, who will? As they left, the debriefing, Hyun Woo felt different than before. He had faced impossible horrors and survived. More than that, he had helped protect the galaxy from things that could destroy entire worlds. You did well today, Captain Park told him. You're becoming a real guard. I'm starting to understand why they only trust humans with this job, Hyun Woo replied, and why the galaxy needs us to keep doing it, Captain Park added. Outside the station, the dying star continued its slow burn. But inside Void's edge, the A monsters were safely locked away again. And standing watch over them were the guards who had learned long ago that the only way to defeat fear was to face it head-on. 2 days after the containment breach, Hyun-Woo was still having strange dreams. In them, he saw corridors that stretched forever and creatures with too many eyes. But the dreams didn't scare him anymore. They felt like memories of a job well done. He was eating breakfast when Dr. Choi sat down across from him. She looked tired, with dark circles under her eyes. I've been studying what happened during the breach, she said without greeting. The power failure wasn't an accident. Hyun-Woo nearly choked on his food. What do you mean? Someone caused it. Something caused it. I've been analyzing the security footage and power grid data all night. She pulled out her tablet and showed him a complex diagram. The failure happened in a very specific pattern, too specific to be random. Before Hyun-Woo could respond, Captain Park's voice came over the communication system. All senior guards report to the briefing room immediately. We have a situation. In the briefing room, they found Commander Song standing next to a holographic display. The image showed the prison's most secure section, Block A. This was where they kept the worst prisoners, the ones that could destroy entire star systems if they escaped. Dr. Choi has discovered something disturbing, Commander Song announced. The power failure was deliberately caused. We have a saboteur. Hyun-Ji Bae, the station's communications specialist, stepped forward. She was a small woman with keen eyes who rarely spoke unless she had something important to say. I've been monitoring all communications for the past month, Hyun-Ji said. Someone has been sending coded messages through our system. Very subtle, hidden in routine maintenance reports. She brought up another display showing message patterns. The messages started 3 weeks ago, right after Guard Lee arrived. But I don't think he's involved. The timing is coincidental. Who is involved? Sora asked. That's the problem, Yunji replied. The messages are being sent psychically, not through our normal channels. Someone with telepathic abilities is coordinating this. Commander Song nodded grimly, which brings us to our main suspect. The hologram changed to show a single cell in Block A. Cell A1. The last emperor, Hyun-woo, had heard whispers about the last emperor but never seen him. According to the stories, he once ruled over 17 star systems before being defeated by the combined fleets of the Galactic Federation. He was said to have powers that could bend reality itself. The Emperor has been in containment for 50 years, Commander Song continued, but his cell is equipped with the most advanced psychic dampeners in the galaxy. How could he be sending messages? Dr. Choi raised her hand. I think I know. I've been studying the brain scans of our non-human guards. Over the past month, they've shown subtle changes, small alterations in their neural patterns. She brought up brain scan images on the display. See these dark spots? They weren't there a month ago. The Emperor has been slowly influencing their minds bit by bit, so slowly that they didn't notice. But the human guards show no changes, Yunji added. Our brain patterns are exactly the same as when we arrived. Captain Park leaned forward. Are you saying he can control the alien guards but not us? Not control, Dr. Choi corrected. Influence. He plants suggestions, makes them more likely to make small mistakes or overlook important details. After months of this, he could probably convince them to help him escape. Sang-wook-yoon, a veteran guard with gray hair, spoke up from the back of the room. He had been working at the station for 15 years and rarely showed emotion. This explains something that's been bothering me, Sang-wook said. In the old days, we rotated all guards through all sections, but about 10 years ago, we started keeping humans in the high-security areas and aliens in the medium and low-security areas. I thought it was just policy. It was survival, Commander Song replied. The previous administration learned that prolonged exposure to powerful psychic prisoners gradually corrupted non-human guards. Humans seemed to be naturally resistant. Dr. Choi nodded. I've been researching this phenomenon. Human brains developed in an environment filled with predators that used camouflage, mimicry, and even primitive psychic abilities. Early humans had to learn to recognize deception and resist mental manipulation just to survive. You mean Earth had psychic predators? Hyun-woo asked. Not exactly psychic, but close. There were creatures that could influence human behavior through pheromones, others that could mimic human voices to lure prey, and some that seemed to know what humans were thinking. Your ancestors developed mental defenses against all of these threats. Yunji brought up another display. I've decoded more of the Emperor's messages. He's planning something big. The power failure was just a test. He wanted to see how we would respond. What's his real plan? Sora asked. According to the messages, he wants to merge with the station's AI system. If he succeeds, he would control every system on Void's edge. Life support, containment fields, weapons, everything. The room fell silent as everyone realized what this meant. If the Emperor controlled the station, he could release every prisoner at once. Thousands of the galaxy's worst criminals would be free to terrorize the universe. How do we stop him? Hyun-woo asked. Commander Song looked around the room. We're going to do something that's never been attempted before. We're going to interview the last Emperor. Captain Park raised an eyebrow. Interview him? That sounds dangerous. Extremely dangerous, Commander Song agreed. But we need to know exactly what he's planning and how far along he is. The only way to get that information is to talk to him directly. Who goes in? Sora asked. A human guard, obviously, Commander Song replied. Someone who can resist his mental influence. Someone brave enough to face one of the most dangerous beings in the galaxy. All eyes turned to Hyun-woo. He felt his stomach drop. Me? But I'm just a rookie. Shouldn't someone more experienced do this? Sang-wook shook his head. Experience might actually be a disadvantage here. The Emperor has had 50 years to study how veteran guards think and act. But you're new. He hasn't had time to analyze your mental patterns. Dr. Choi added. Plus, your recent exposure to various prisoners has strengthened your natural resistance. Your brain is already adapting to psychic threats. Hyun-woo looked around the room at the faces of his colleagues. They were counting on him to do something that terrified him. But isn't that what humans did? Face the things that scared them? What do I need to know? He asked. Commander Song smiled for the first time since the briefing began. Dr. Choi and Yoonji will brief you on what questions to ask. Captain Park will train you on resistance techniques. And remember, you won't be alone. We'll be monitoring everything from outside the cell. As the meeting broke up, Sang-wook approached Hyun-woo. Nervous? The older guard asked. Terrified, Hyun-woo admitted. Good. Fear will keep you alert. But remember something important. Sang-wook put a hand on Hyun-woo's shoulder. Humans have been facing monsters since we lived in caves. We didn't have energy weapons or psychic dampeners back then. Just our wits, our courage, and our stubborn refusal to give up. You think that's enough? It's gotten us this far, Sang-wook replied. The Emperor thinks he understands humans because he's studied us for 50 years. But there's something about us he'll never understand. What's that? We're not afraid to lose if it means protecting others. Most species will surrender to save themselves. Humans will fight to the death to save strangers. That's something no amount of studying can prepare him for. That evening, as Hyun-woo prepared for the most dangerous assignment of his life, he thought about all the humans who had come before him, the ones who had faced saber-toothed tigers with nothing but stone spears, the ones who had survived ice ages and plagues and wars. Tomorrow, he would face the last emperor, a being who had once conquered star systems and could bend reality with his thoughts. But Hyun-woo was human, and humans had been defeating monsters for 1,000,000 years. He fell asleep that night with no dreams at all. His mind was clear, focused, and ready for whatever came next. The walk to Block A felt like walking to his own execution. Hyun-woo moved through corridors he had never seen before, each one more secure than the last. By the time he reached the last Emperor's cell, he had passed through 7 different security checkpoints. Captain Park walked beside him carrying a special communication device. Remember, if you feel your thoughts becoming confused or if you start agreeing with anything he says, use the safe word. We'll pull you out immediately. What if he doesn't let me leave? Hyun-woo asked. Then we come in and get you, Sora's voice said through his earpiece. She was stationed outside with a full tactical team. Cell A1 was different from the others. Instead of a simple room, it was a sphere of pure energy suspended in the center of a large chamber. Inside the glowing sphere sat a figure that looked almost human. Almost. The last emperor was tall and thin, with pale skin and silver hair, but his eyes were wrong. They swirled with colors that shouldn't exist, and looking at them made Hyun-woo feel dizzy. Ah, the emperor said as Hyun-woo approached. His voice was cultured and calm. A new human guard. How delightful. I was beginning to think they had run out of your kind. I'm here to ask you some questions, Hyun-woo said, trying to keep his voice steady. Questions? How wonderfully direct. Your species never learned proper manners, did they? The emperor smiled, showing teeth that were too sharp. Very well. Ask your questions, little human. I will answer what amuses me. Did you cause the power failure in Block C? Straight to the point, I admire that. The emperor leaned forward in his energy prison. Yes, I orchestrated that little demonstration. It was quite instructive to watch your people scramble around like insects. How did you do it? Your cell blocks all psychic abilities. The emperor laughed, a sound like breaking crystal. Your technology blocks direct psychic contact, yes, but it cannot block what is already inside the minds of your alien guards. I have been planting seeds of suggestion for months. Small thoughts, tiny impulses. Eventually, one of them was moved to make a simple mistake in the power grid. Why? Hyun-woo asked. What's your real goal? My goal? The emperor's eyes began to glow brighter. To reclaim what was stolen from me. To rule again. To show the galaxy that some beings are simply meant to command others. Hyun-woo felt a pressure, in his mind like someone gently pushing at his thoughts. And how do you plan to do that from inside a prison cell? Oh, my dear boy, I won't be in this cell much longer. The Emperor stood up inside his energy sphere. Even now my influence spreads through the station. Soon, every non-human guard will be under my control. They will release me, and I will merge with your AI systems. The pressure in Hyunwoo's mind grew stronger. He could feel the Emperor trying to push thoughts into his head. Thoughts about how impressive and powerful the Emperor was, how it would be better to serve him than fight him. But instead of resisting directly, Hyunwoo did something unexpected. He thought about his grandmother's garden on Earth, about pulling weeds in the hot sun and the smell of tomatoes growing. Simple human thoughts about a simple human life. The Emperor frowned. Your mental defenses are crude, primitive, yet somehow effective. That's the thing about humans, Hyunwoo said. We don't need fancy defenses. We just need to be ourselves. Yourself? The Emperor's frown deepened. You are nothing, a species of savages from a backward world. What could you possibly understand about power or purpose? I understand that power means protecting people, Hyunwoo replied, and purpose means standing between monsters and innocent lives. The Emperor's eyes flashed with anger. Monsters? I am no monster. I am evolution perfected. I am what lesser species aspire to become. No, Hyunwoo said firmly. You're what happens when someone gets too much power and forgets how to be decent. For the first time, the Emperor looked truly angry. The energy field around his cell began to fluctuate. You dare lecture me? I have ruled star systems while your species was still hitting rocks together, and yet here you are trapped in a cell while we're the ones with the keys, Hyunwoo pointed out. That was when the lights went out. Emergency power kicked in a moment later, bathing everything in red light. Through his earpiece, Hyunwoo heard chaos erupting throughout the station. Multiple containment failures. Commander Song's voice crackled through static. It's happening again, but worse this time. The Emperor smiled broadly. Ah, there we are. My alien servants have finally completed their task. They have shut down the primary AI systems. Soon, I will be free to merge with what remains. Human guards fall back to defensive positions, Captain Park's voice shouted through the communication system. But Hyunwoo didn't move. Something about this felt wrong. Why are you telling me your plan? If you really could control the alien guards, why risk exposing yourself? The Emperor's smile faltered slightly. What do you mean? I mean, if you could really influence their mind so easily, you would have escaped years ago. You're lying about something. You insolent little... You can't actually control them. Hyunwoo continued, his confidence growing. You can only make suggestions, and most of the time, they resist those suggestions because they're good people. The Emperor's energy field began to pulse erratically. Silence. The only reason any of this is working is because you've been planning it for so long. Months of tiny pushes, tiny suggestions, but that takes time, and we know about it now. Through his earpiece, Hyunwoo heard Dr. Choi's voice. He's right. I'm reading massive psychic energy from the Emperor's cell. He's been using almost all his power just to maintain the influence over a few guards. Which means, Hyunwoo said, staring directly at the Emperor, you're much weaker than you pretend to be. The Emperor screamed in rage. The energy field around his cell cracked like glass but held. I will tear your mind apart. I will make you watch as I destroy everything you care about. No, you won't, Hyunwoo said calmly. Because you're trapped in there and we're out here. And as long as humans are guarding this station, you'll never escape. That was when the real battle began. From all around the station came the sound of alarms and fighting. But it wasn't the prisoners escaping. It was the alien guards fighting off the Emperor's mental influence. Now that they knew what to look for, they could resist his suggestions. All containment breaches sealed, Commander Song reported. Alien guards are fighting off the psychic influence. Whatever Guard Lee is doing, it's working. The Emperor turned his full attention to Hyunwoo, pouring all his psychic power into one massive mental assault. Hyunwoo felt like his head was being split open with an axe. Images of death and destruction flooded his mind. Visions of his family dying, his friends betraying him, the entire galaxy burning. But Hyunwoo held on to one simple thought. This wasn't real. The Emperor was desperate, using everything he had in one last attempt to break free. And humans had survived worse things than the tantrums of a fallen tyrant. "You want to know why humans guard the darkness?" Hyunwoo asked, his voice steady, despite the agony in his head. "It's because we've been doing it for 1,000,000 years. We stood watch against the night when we had nothing but fire and sharp sticks. We faced down creatures that could kill us with a single swipe, and we won." The psychic assault intensified, but Hyunwoo kept talking. Every species in the galaxy evolved on worlds that nurtured them. Warm suns, gentle rains, plenty of food. But humans? We came from a world that tried to murder us every single day. Ice ages, volcanic eruptions, predators, diseases, natural disasters. And we survived all of it. The Emperor's energy field began to crack more seriously. "You think you're powerful because you can influence minds and bend reality. But you know what real power is. It's the ability to keep fighting when everything is hopeless. It's the willingness to sacrifice yourself for strangers. It's standing between the monster and the innocent even when you know you might not win." "Stop!" the Emperor screamed. "We don't fight because we're strong." Hyunwoo continued. "We fight because someone has to. And when the galaxy needs someone to stand guard over its nightmares, they call us. Not because we're the smartest or the most advanced, but because we understand what it means to face the darkness and refuse to blink." The Emperor's psychic attack suddenly stopped. His energy field stabilized and he slumped to the floor of his cell, exhausted. "You win this round, human," he said quietly. "But I am immortal. I have eternity to plan my escape, and we have eternity to stop you," Hyunwoo replied. "That's what humans do. We guard the things that need guarding for as long as it takes." As security teams arrived to escort him away, Hyunwoo felt a deep sense of satisfaction. The Emperor was contained, the station was secure, and the galaxy was safe for another day. Later in the debriefing room, Director Ji-won-nam addressed the entire guard force. She was a stern woman who rarely showed emotion, but today she seemed almost proud. "Today we learned something important about why this station exists," she said. "Every species in the galaxy has contributed to our civilization. The Velthari gave us technology. The Luminari gave us art and philosophy. The crystalline beings gave us mathematics.